Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. You make me feel very welcome. I think it's cool now to talk that the white boys are gone. Don't mind me, I work with them. I like to have a crack joke with them. I will have cracked a different joke if they are here. But I hope you didn't give them any pepper soup because oftentimes they don't like it. Now, it's a very interesting thing for tonight for what this institution is doing and what we have been called to be part and participate about. I like the name Blue Sky Citadel. If you understand, blue sky means there's no limit. And Citadel means a place of refuge, oftentimes like a castle, where when you are in there, you are hidden. And it's a place where it redevelop you to come into a place of formidable existence. And so the name itself signifies the beauty and the real depth of what this college, I call it college, is supposed to be and to achieve in future. The truth about life is we have been called to be salt and light. We have been called to transform. We have been called to bring a difference in the life of other people. Salt is interesting because salt gives taste and is also preserve. And that's what this school has become. It gives taste for those who apparently their life will not have gone to where they are, and it's able to season them and preserve them for what the future will look like. So Jesus said we are salt and we are to be like a salt and light. But of what importance if it's a salt if it is not used? Of what importance? He said it's useless because it's only remain in a shaker. And what is importance is a light. If a light is hidden under a bushel or under the bed, so you never understand the power of a light until when you're in darkness. No matter how this place is lit up, a torchlight will have no meaning. But take a torchlight into an extreme darkness, then you see the power of light. And that's what this college is about. And that's what Jesus really wants our life to be and to become. See, it's not about engaging with a citadel, but it's about us being a citadel for other people. And that is the true meaning of how our life is. In my own personal life, I guess what makes my life personally as an example of a salt and light will be my earlier days in this country is an example of what future could look like when even things look bleak and you don't understand what life could look like in the future. But over a period of time, a mentoring scheme, an engagement, an openness, a relative understanding like what we have here exposed and engaged me in a journey that has taken me to where I am. And now, I imagine myself, when I became the director for One People Commission at Evangelical Alliance, there were very limited amount of people who have ethnic minority on an organization that has been existing for 176 years old. Because God has called us to be a salt and light. If all I do is just to sit on the title, on the position, then I fail to create the space for the future of those who will make a difference. So the first thing I did was to challenge the status quo. And you cannot challenge status quo if we are not rational, cerebral, and have an objective reasoning. So the first thing is to challenge it. If indeed 25 to 30% of the evangelicals in this country are of black and minority ethnic, why do we have a 2% representation? So that begins to reason out the way people see things, the way they relate to things. And then in a period of 7 years now, across the staff, across the board, across the whole establishment, we're now going to around 33% of people who have of black and minority ethnic. Why is that? It's because you have been called to be a salt and a light. You don't do things for yourself. You do things for legacy. You do things for future. You do things for people who will never be able to say thank you to you physically. But the experience and engagement of what God will have made them to be will mean that, yes, God is honoring what you have established. You know, the greatest disappointment that God will look upon many of us is if we see our being in this country of looking inwardly by not interacting with the grace and the gift that God has given unto us to create the space in the future for those who are coming behind us. And that's why you and I cannot afford to be inward looking. That's why you and I cannot afford to shut ourselves up and say it's racism, and say it's because I'm black, and say it's because they will not give me a job. That means you don't understand the capacity and the competence, the uniqueness and the DNA of what God has put within you. Because the moment you come to the understanding that what makes you is different, what makes other, you begin to see things differently, you begin to talk differently, you begin to hear differently, you begin to engage differently. Because my brothers and my sisters, what I have, you don't have. What you have, I don't have. It's an understanding whether you understand what you have and what you carry. Until you understand what you have and what you carry, you will always be a beggar. You will always ask for people to give you. You will beg for people to let you have something. It's because you don't know what you have. When you know what you have, your first conversation is to make the other person look incompetent so that they can rate your competency so that they can depend on you. Because that's the way God created the narrative for us to be. There's a particular Bible text, as I close on this, that I think has shaped my life. Is that Genesis 1:28. When God said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish, take dominion. But did you know the whole of that text is, if you put it in today's context for every one of you who are sitting down here, if you imagine that when God created humanity, he did not even ask them to pray. He didn't ask them to fast. He didn't ask them to go to church. The very first word the Creator tells the createe is the most important word. But he didn't tell them everything we do today. He never told them to pray or to go to church. But what did God tell humanity when he created them? The first word God told humanity, be fruitful, multiply, replenish. But hang on a minute. How can you be fruitful without a seed? Why did he say be fruitful, not seedful? Have you ever thought about it? Because before you get a fruit, you need a seed. But he didn't say be seedful. He said be fruitful. He said that because inside of you and inside of me is a seed. So God was speaking to the seed that is inside of you, that when you take that seed, you sow it, the ultimate is that you become what? Fruitful. And until you understand the seed you carry, you beg. A man that understands what he carries doesn't beg. Oh, you appear bold and strong. Nobody comes near you. I know what I carry. I know what I stand off. Because put me in Timbuktu, the seed will still produce fruit. Until you know the seed, you have no fruitfulness. So God said, be fruitful. But you cannot even be fruitful until you sow the seed. That means you need to find the right place to sow the seed so that the seed can become fruitful. You say you don't know the seed you carry. You do carry. Your seed is unique. It's not mine. Some carry apples, some we say guava, whatever. Everybody carry a unique seed within them that God wants you to be fruitful about. But that seed needs to be planted right. When it is planted right, then it becomes fruitful. But he didn't say be fruitful alone. Because when you are fruitful, it's only the fruitfulness is limited to your own personal consumption. That's why he said be what? Multiply. What does multiply mean? You duplicate yourself, you replicate yourself, you multiply yourself. What is the point in me only being successful? That's why God didn't say only be fruitful. Because my fruitfulness is a function of my personal success. But my multiplication is a function of diversity of me that is all over the place. It's a mini me that has been created all over the place. It's not only being fruitful, but multiply. The people that make it in this world are the people that are not only fruitful, but they are the people that multiply. Because when you multiply, it's not only you. That's why most organizations, most businesses, most churches, when they hit a particular number, a particular level of growth, they stop growing. The business stopped growing. The church stopped growing. Their life stopped growing. Why? Because they have been fruitful, but they have not multiplied. When you multiply, you reproduce. Reproduction means you create capacity. You create strength. You create an unlimited vacuum that people can come into. You get what I'm saying? It's a failure if what you have is only yourself and you don't recreate yourself in other people. That's why you go beyond being fruitful and multiply. Then you do what? You have dominion. So your representation is not only where you are. It's not local, it's not regional, it's not national, but it's global. Because that's when you are known. That's when you become a citadel, a refuge. And that's why it becomes a blue sky, because there is no limit. God bless you.